This is Void Collector, a fast-paced speedrunning FPS where you make different hand poses to blast through stages as quickly as possible. Press 1 through 5 on the keyboard to toggle each finger on or off to switch through your arsenal. It's been a hot minute since the last devlog, so I've got plenty to share. The main goal for the past month and a half has been to get the second world ready to go. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of polishing and refinement left to do, but for now, the levels are ready to go. Let's give each one a quick look and cover their unique mechanics. First up is Radical, Gnarly, Tubular even. This stage showcases the surfboard mechanic and a pair of new enemies I showed off in the previous devlog. The surfboard is relatively simple. You step on it and it launches off into the ocean and bounces across the water. This pair of enemies, the Bat and Ball Bastards, work together to propel dangerous bombs right at you. The stage is simple, mixing up and around and showing off the new stuff. Stage 2 is Tourist Trap, a level set around a large tourist shop with billboards and t-shirts everywhere. It introduces the next big enemy, Brain Buster. He locks onto you as long as you're in range and ticks down this meter. If it runs out, you'll take damage. This stage is set apart by how it combines the Brain Buster and surfboards. At several points, you have to surf across the ocean while fighting and weaving between billboards. Stage 3 is Wrath of the Conductor, introducing a mini-boss, named the Conductor, that spawns dangerous train traps in front of you when you're in line of sight. If you run into these hazard markers, a train will pop out and launch you away while dealing damage. The blue ones won't hurt you, however. The stage uses this in a bunch of ways. Right off the bat, you use this one to land on a surfboard, and then bail from it to land up top. A bit later on, you surf down here and then ricochet from one train to another. If you want to check out the rest of the stage, go to my Patreon to play it for yourself. If you want to try the game out for free, the complete World 1 is available on itch.io. But this build has more than just these 3 new stages. Here's the revamped hub world. Previously, the levels were just sort of set out on a flat plane. But now, each world gets their own unique segment with textures and details from their respective worlds. This does make traversal a bit slower, so I'll be adding in a way to instantly warp to unlock levels a bit down the line. You might notice this health building right here. Well, this is where players can go to enable the new Assisted mode. I've been listening loud and clear to feedback. The players who stick with the game's unique control scheme tend to end up liking it, but a lot of players don't want to deal with that initial hurdle. Assisted mode aims to be a set of training wheels to help players learn the system while adding in some reliable options to work with. While active, you can use the scroll wheel to change weapons. You also gain access to a weapon wheel, which I imagine will help quite a bit. With these upgrades, it would easily make Assisted the preferred option over the intended control scheme. So, as a bit of a balancing tactic, I've made it so that the Special Gauge and the Juice Gauge regenerate just a little bit slower while you have these active. So overall, it should still be faster to learn the intended, more difficult control scheme, but players won't be punished too harshly for picking the nice, easy option. If you look closely at the weapon wheel, you should see 2 new weapons. First up is a backup option called the Prod. It has fast speed, but minuscule damage and range. The real reason to use it is when you're out of resources, since it has a 0 juice cost. You can help in a pinch. The more exciting weapon here is called the Fling. It launches out a bomb at an upwards angle. It's a bit slow, but it deals AoE damage and has great range. This weapon is a solid all-rounder, essentially. You can boost yourself with a similar height to the uppercut, but it only works when you have ground to deal with. The range is similar to the bill pair, but you'll have to aim a projectile. The damage is similar to the double barrel, but the speed is much slower. It'll work better than each of these in select circumstances. If you've seen the previous logs, you might be wondering why the detonator meter at the bottom is now the special meter. Well, that ties into a bit of a rework. Previously, the bird was a weapon that would constantly drain juice while it was active, in exchange for giving you a big speed boost. Players didn't end up really using it though, just didn't really have time to fit into their game plan. So now it's been coded to use half of your special gauge to fire a massive laser beam that does a lot of damage from an extreme range. It's missing a bit of a visual flourish for right now, but this should help set it apart and make it a lot more useful than its previous iteration. Okay, that'll do it for today. If you want to watch me develop live, I stream every Tuesday. The Discord is linked in the description if you want to join the community. Go check out the Patreon to play the most recent builds, or go to itch.io to download the public demo. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for a look at World 3.